Hey everybody, hi. I'm Mary Zicafoose. Welcome to my studio. Come on in. What you doing today? I'm a tapestry weaver and I work in Omaha, Nebraska. This studio is embedded within an architecture firm in downtown Omaha. And I have been here for about 6 years. And I also have another studio in the lower level of my home that I do all of the wet work and dyeing in. So let me show you around, okay? This, my dears, is a loom. And this is the piece of equipment that I use for weaving tapestries. I have several of these in different locations, but we only have one in this facility. And this is the tool for the job. Fabulous piece of equipment. Come on back. This is where all the damage is done, or where all the art is created. What I have on the loom is called a warp, and I am weaving this particular piece right now on my loom. This is a 98-inch long by 91-inch wide tapestry for the new VA clinic here in Omaha, Nebraska. So this is my mock-up. I have two versions of a plan for this piece. One is an inch-by-inch scale model of what I'm doing, and the other is the color version of what I'm doing. And I think probably the most critical part of what I do as a tapestry weaver is, number one, the making of color. All of this is dyed in my home studio, and then the juxtaposition of color in pieces. So, how does this thing work? What does it do? You can see here I have these pedals or treadles. It looks kind of like an organ almost. And I press a treadle down and it raises and lowers some of the warp threads. And then my job is to take colored yarn, the weft, and slide it through. Seems simple enough, right? Then I just give this little tap like this. And I feed this piece thread by thread by thread, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, to create a tapestry. And it's a pretty darn slow go. People always ask me, how long does it take to do a tapestry, to do a piece? And about the only accurate answer I can give them is that it doesn't go any faster now than it did 2,000 years ago. I mean, it's just strand by strand by strand that I lay into a piece, and a piece can consist of hundreds of thousands of strands of thread. So I did that little section. Now I'm going to come over here, and it's time for a new color. So I pick up another shuttle, and I weave this shuttle in. We listen to podcasts. Usually in my studio, we'll pick a podcast. We'll all listen to it independently, and then we'll talk about it at lunch, and listen to music. And I have found over the years of weaving, that there is one type of music that is perfectly suited either for the pace of the activity. I don't know what it is, but it's country music. And I was never a country music fan. I never listen to country music any other time but when I'm here in my studio and when I'm weaving. And there's something about it that is great. It allows me to keep weaving long after I want to quit. So maybe I'll be at the loom 5 hours in a day, and I'll be tired, and I'll just put on a different song, and away I go, and I can crank out a couple more hours of work, which is huge. For the last couple of years, I've been talking about doing a piece, a huge, long horizontal tapestry that was a bird's eye view of the Sandhill Cranes on the Platte River during the crane migration. And so before the pandemic hit, we launched the Sandhill Crane project. And I am so madly excited about this. Right here is this is kind of the photograph of the cranes on the river blown up. And this is going to be the this is, in essence, is gonna be the piece. It's gonna have a giant color block down at this end, but this is what it's gonna look like. And it's going to be white yarn dyed in indigo and grays and blacks. It's going to be very photorealistic, and all of the imagery that you saw on that long tapestry is being coded and prepared into each strand of yarn on these boards. I do a technique called ikat. And ikat is simply stretching yarn and wrapping it with the resist material, dyeing the yarn, unwrapping it, and coding the little pixels of your design into each strand of yarn. So right here, believe it or not, this is that photograph stretched out and elongated. And when we are wrapping these boards, there's 22 boards like this, and they're totally wrapped. This is the pattern we're following. So everything that's white is getting wrapped. Everything that's black, like here, this is white, that was wrapped, that's black, that's not wrapped. I mean, this is really time-consuming, arduous work. Those are boards of ikat that are already wrapped. We're going to dye that, unwrap it, then I will put it on shuttles and I will weave it. And when I weave it, when I'm done, it's going to look very similar to that mock-up that I had on the wall. This particular piece was done some years ago. This is very similar to a piece that's in the Mona personal private collection of the museum. It's my thumbprint, actually, and it was done with that very same technique. I can think of no better place. I get incredibly supported by the art community here in Nebraska, by the business community. For me, it's sort of been a perfect marriage on every level. And I also love the topography of Nebraska. I'm mad for what goes on in this state in terms of agriculture, of the horizon, the sky meeting the land. I think it's one of the most powerful minimal lines in nature, actually. Thank you for checking in with Mona today and coming to visit me. Take care and be safe. Bye-bye.